I'm Kathy Olewski, and I'm the host for the Vasculitis Foundation Educational Webinar Series. I love doing these informative webinars as I'm also a patient living with MPA vasculitis, just like many of you. And today's Living with Vasculitis webinar is what to eat and what to avoid. And we're super excited to have Lucy Matos with us to help us understand how to understand inflammation and holistic ways to deal with it. Matos is a registered holistic nutritionist, a soul coach, a meditation teacher, a Reiki master, and she is a vasculitis survivor for 28 years living with Takayasu's. She is a director on the board for the Vasculitis Foundation of Canada, where she takes an active role in raising awareness for vasculitis, which is one of her passions and focus. Having gone through her own struggles and challenges throughout her life, she uses her own personal experiences and knowledge by being of service to others. She specializes in pain and fatigue due to chronic inflammation. So Lucy is based in Toronto, Canada, and helps people who have vasculitis and other autoimmune conditions by using a holistic mind, body, spirit approach to inflammation and finding the root cause. Her services include a whole body approach to health using diet and nutrition, lifestyle, and spiritual practices to achieve optimal health and vitality. And with all that, welcome, Lucy. We're so happy to have you here to share your experiences with vasculitis because all of us are living with vasculitis.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored to be here, especially to talk about my biggest passion, which has been and always will be, I think, nutrition.
So we would like for you to share your screen now and start teaching us all those things.
Great, thank you. How's that?
That's great. We're ready whenever you are.
Great, thank you. Just a moment. Oh. I just want to read my disclosure slide. I am on the board of directors for Vasculitis Foundation Canada. I receive no compensation as a member of the board of directors, and I have no relevant financial relationship to disclose. So before I begin, I just want to say that I am a registered holistic nutritionist and I specialize in inflammation. And what I'm about to talk to today is important, and part of it is my education and of course part of my own personal experiences and knowledge. But I do say that before you want to start a diet, that it's best to speak to your doctor or a professional nutritionist or a dietitian such as myself. So here we begin. I'm no stranger, like Kathy said. I have been living with vasculitis for the past 28 years. I started with symptoms in 1994 and got diagnosed in 1996 and have been living with it since. And I find that nutrition has been very helpful in combination with medication. And this is why I share my passion with everyone. So the objectives today are you're going to have an understanding of inflammation. What is the anti-inflammatory diet? I'll provide information and examples of the many anti-inflammatory foods. There'll be information and examples of pro-inflammatory foods and an understanding of an anti-inflammatory lifestyle. So what is inflammation? Inflammation is a natural process that helps your body heal and defend itself from harm. So if you've ever had a cold, a cut, or a rash, or a bruise, then you have experienced inflammation. Inflammation is a vital and natural process that helps your body heal and defend itself from harm. It is the immune system's response to injury, infection, toxins, or allergies. It's the body's way of signaling the immune system to heal and repair damaged tissue, as well as viruses and bacteria. Inflammation indicates that the body is fighting something harmful and trying to heal itself. So here are 5 signs and symptoms of acute inflammation. There are 5 cardinal signs: redness, swelling, heat, pain, loss of function. And in addition to this, there's also other symptoms such as fatigue, which I'm sure many of you have felt with vasculitis, feeling tired all the time, fevers that can come and go, skin issues such as rashes, sores, dry or scaly skin. And there are also digestive issues, or it could be swollen glands. And causes inflammation could be these right here. So allergies, food sensitivities, injury, infection, smoking, pollutant exposure such as, air, water, food, household toxins, high or prolonged stress, poor quality of sleep, obesity, high fat diet, and lack of exercise. So when does inflammation become chronic? When inflammation persists or serves no purpose, it damages the body and causes illness. When the immune system response is shut off, it never shuts off, this causes constant production of immune cells, which do permanent damage. This means your body stays in high alert, and that's when we get allergies, cancer, heart disease, arthritis, mood disorders, Alzheimer's disease, gut disorders, autoimmune diseases, including vasculitis. I've put that in there. Altered cell function, death of cell function, hormone dysregulation, destruction of tissues, thickening and scarring of connective fibrosis. So what else can we do? Well, nutrition can help. There's great news. There's 3 simple words I always use, and that is change your diet. Dietary choices play a big role. Learning how specific foods influence the inflammatory process is the best strategy for controlling and reducing long-term disease risks. We need to start paying attention to our nutrition, being more mindful of what causes inflammation, understanding that, and start avoiding those, and what reduces inflammation, start incorporating them more into our lives. Also, there are other things we can do, such as lifestyle practices, which I'm going to be getting into later on, such as body movement, getting adequate sleep, managing stress, and reducing exposure to toxins. Just gonna have a little sip of water. It's quite dry in the house this time of year. What is an anti-inflammatory diet? So an anti-inflammatory diet involves eating nutrient-rich whole foods that are in their most natural form. So that would be like an apple or an orange. Instead of having the juice, you would have the whole natural form of the fruit or the vegetables. Natural form meaning they're naturally packed with vitamins, minerals, fiber, and antioxidants. And what I always say, if it's grown on a tree, you eat it. And if it's made in a plant, well, don't eat it. The diet focuses on whole vegetables and fruits, whole grains, lean proteins, plant-based and natural sources, healthy fats, unrefined oils, fermented foods, legumes, nuts and seeds, herbs and spices, and yes, dark chocolate. But it has to be a good quality chocolate with at least 75% of cacao. So I talk about antioxidants. And so antioxidants are natural molecules that help neutralize harmful free radicals in the body. Free radicals cause damage to the body. Antioxidants reduce free radicals, which reduce inflammatory markers. So less free radicals, less inflammation. More antioxidants, less free radicals. There are literally hundreds, if not thousands, of different substances that act as antioxidants. Antioxidants are found mostly in plant foods, fruits, vegetables. The most familiar are vitamin C, vitamin E, and beta carotene. Some examples could be blueberries, raspberries, apples, broccoli, spinach, legumes, green tea, dark chocolate, again, I bring that up, and red wine. The more colors you add into your diet, the more antioxidants. That's why it's so important to choose a variety of colors in your diet. Ideally, you would limit your intake of meat and dairy. Choose complex carbohydrates over refined carbohydrates. So complex carbohydrates would be like your sweet potato or your brown rice over refined carbohydrates such as white bread, pastries, and sweets, avoiding processed foods, including processed meat such as hot dogs, cold cuts and sausages, fried foods, and refined sugars. So foods to eat on an anti-inflammatory diet. Cruciferous vegetables such as broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, radish, turnips, bok choy, and watercress. Leafy greens would include kale, spinach, rapini, arugula. I love rapini. Every time I say rapini, I just think how much I love to eat. I think I eat like a whole rapini in like a week. There's also dandelion greens, romaine lettuce. And I want to talk about how some people have, they're taking blood thinners. So I did talk about kale and spinach, but I want to say that for those of you who are taking blood thinners, vitamin K, which is found in these dark leafy greens, help to clot blood. I wouldn't completely take them out of your diet because of the health benefits. They have a lot of magnesium, fiber, folate, and calcium. But I would, however, speak to your doctor and build that into your health plan. So when I was on blood thinners for many years, I would just tell my doctor, I want to continue to eat my dark leafy greens. And so what we do is we'd set up into my health plan where I'd be able to eat these greens, and we just would kind of fix the levels of the amount of medication I was taking, so that they knew. So you can work with your doctor on certain things that you want to do.
All fits together. So could
the other ones could be asparagus, mushrooms, beets, onions, and garlic, root vegetables such as carrots, celery, and parsnips, artichokes, seaweed, sweet peppers, red, yellow, and orange, squash, and pumpkin. And of course, I like to say this a lot, you can have dark chocolate. So some of the fruits would be berries. Berries are really high in antioxidants. And in fact, you know, they're really good with, you can put them in your oatmeal in the morning or add them into a smoothie or just have them as a snack. So those would be the blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, and strawberries. And I want to add that the more color, especially the purples and the reds, the higher they are in antioxidants and reduce inflammation. Also, you have your apples and pears, apricots, nectarines, and peaches, citruses such as the oranges, grapefruit, and lemons, tropical fruits such as pineapple. Pineapple is really good for inflammation. It has something in it called bromelain, which is a type of enzyme, and so it's really good to have daily if you can. I don't know where people are from, but I know they're probably not in seasons, and especially here I am in Canada. Bananas, mango, papaya, grapes, again, the red, the black, and the blue. You will notice that I didn't put green. That's because the green has a really high sugar content and not high in antioxidants. So if you like grapes, it's better to buy the red, black, or blue. And others are plums, kiwi, pomegranate, and cherries. And dates are excellent as well. I just want to take a minute to talk about the health benefits of lemon water, how excellent it is for hydration, very high in vitamin C, which means they're high in antioxidants, and they support your immune system. They reduce inflammation and aid in digestion. They boost your energy levels and benefit your kidneys and liver health. They repair damaged tissues and help eliminate toxins from your body. And so every morning, what I do before I start my day is I get half a lemon, cut it in half, I squeeze it into a mug, and I get some boiled water from the kettle, and I add it, and I drink that first thing before I eat or drink anything. And so it's really good to basically eliminate and help get that hydration in you from the fact that you had just slept all night. And so your body needs, especially the liver, to get going in the morning. I'm going to be providing a recipe for warm lemon water as well. Okay, other things to consider are whole grains. So the oats, brown and wild rice, quinoa, millet, buckwheat, brown rice pasta, legume type pasta such as the lentil or chickpea varieties, eggs. So these are your proteins now. And I want to suggest that you eat proteins at every meal. So it would be good to have proteins with your breakfast, your lunch, and your dinner. And they could be, like I said, eggs, fish, particularly the fatty fish that are really high in omega-3s and low in mercury. So those would be your salmon, sardines, mackerel, halibut, and herring. Other types of legumes would be black beans, chickpeas, and lentils. And like I said earlier, they have pastas as well that have the lentil and chickpeas. Grass-fed, you can have meat. So they would be like your grass-fed would be better than the grain, because if you get meat where they're eating a grain diet, then the whole thing would be that you're eating those grains. And if you are having a sensitivity to grains, then that's why grass-fed beef, lamb, or chicken is best. Also, I want to add in terms of chicken, when you're looking for chicken, finding chicken that's raised without antibiotics or hormones are better for you, because now you're not ingesting the antibiotics or taking in the hormones. And also there's your plant-based proteins, which come from plants that are really good too. And then we get into nuts and seeds. So these are some of the nuts. So almonds, walnuts, cashews, pine nuts, pistachios, hazelnuts, macadamia nuts, and chestnuts. You'll notice I don't have peanuts on there, and that's because peanuts are considered a high mold nut. So a lot of people who have sensitivities, they should stay away from peanuts. And so if we don't know, if we're not checking, then it's best to just avoid peanuts and have these nuts instead. They have really great nut butters that you can try. My favorite is almond and cashew butter, and you can check those out at most grocery stores or health food stores as well. Some of the seeds, and these are also very high in omega-3 fatty acids, would be your hemp seeds. And I have a recipe for you all on hemp seed energy balls. Also chia seeds, flax seeds, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, and sesame seeds. Sesame seeds are really high in calcium. So for those of you who can't have milk and don't have a lot of calcium in your diet, sesame seeds are great. And they have a product in the market that's called tahini. And it's a spread that you can add to if you're making your own hummus, or if you can make a really good dressing using tahini, then that's an option. Another thing to get into are the healthy fats. So swapping out inflammatory oils, such as canola oil, vegetable oil, or corn oil. These oils are really high in omega-6, meaning that they're quite inflammatory. And so I would swap those out for these better varieties, which are avocado oil, extra virgin olive oil, or coconut oil. Fermented foods is another one. I know because of time constraints, I can't get into gut health today, but for our microbiome, a healthy gut, I'm sure you've heard about that. It's all over the I guess, World Wide Web. Like, everybody's talking about gut health, and I do believe in that and practice it as well. Fermented foods are really good to incorporate in your diet daily. And some of them are sauerkraut, kimchi, kefir, miso, fermented veggies, and kombucha. And so if you were going to ask me how much you should have a day, I would say not to worry about how much you have a day, but just try to have a little bit of it in your diet. So now we get into herbs and spices. Yes, there are herbs and spices that help to reduce inflammation. So some of the herbs are oregano, thyme, rosemary, basil, sage, parsley, mint, and dill. And I use oregano and thyme and rosemary a lot in my cooking. And if you follow me on social media, I make a lot of my own soup creations by using anti-inflammatory ingredients. And so a lot of my soups have oregano, thyme, or rosemary to them. Spices, I'm sure you've heard of turmeric, ginger, cumin, cinnamon, coriander, cloves, black pepper, cayenne pepper, saffron, and allspice. So I actually have some turmeric with me today. I'm going to try to see if I can get it there. So this is turmeric. It looks like ginger, but when you cut it inside, it actually does look like ginger. When you cut inside, it's orange, and it looks kind of like a root, doesn't it? And then everyone see. I hope everyone can see. So this is turmeric, and you can find it in most grocery stores like this as a root, or you can find it as a powder. It's a really good one because it has a powerful compound in it called curcumin that's highly anti-inflammatory. And I like to add it in all my recipes as well. I put them in my soup. I put them in my smoothies. Add them to many of my dishes, actually. I even add them to rice. So you can do that. And it makes the rice like a nice orangey color, which is great. I've included a turmeric latte recipe for you and a soup where I use turmeric. You'll be getting an email of those. So yeah, so I wanted to talk about turmeric because it's so healthy and so beneficial for all of us. The other thing is cinnamon. Cinnamon, if you sprinkle cinnamon on your cereal in the morning or on your porridge or even in a smoothie or whatever you want, you can add cinnamon to. It's delicious and it helps to regulate and balance your blood sugar. So that's another good tip. So here are some anti-inflammatory beverages. Water, good quality, pure filtered water. I don't want to get into it too much, but you do have to be careful with the tap water because there are could be some contamination in there, some added things. So a lot of people don't like having plain water. So I can suggest that you can add in some fruit or some herbs to your water. One of my favorite combinations is I add mint, lemon, and cucumber to my water. And cucumber is really good for hydration. And the mint is also very beneficial and it just tastes refreshing. So if you're bored, you find plain water boring, then that's a really good idea. You can add berries, you can add rosemary and orange is a really nice, good combination to put in your water because we need to hydrate. Some people forget how important how important it is to keep hydrated. So it's so important that we do this. And, like I said, you can add whatever you want in it so that, you can, you'll feel better as well when you drink water, when you're hydrated versus when you're not hydrated. So the other ones we can get into here are tea, green tea, herbal tea, such as chamomile, dandelion root. Dandelion root is very good for our liver and for our digestion. I also spoke about the importance of dandelion root as a vegetable, as a whole vegetable, earlier in the slides. So also ginger tea is really good, and peppermint. I make a ginger tea. I just slice some thinly pieces of ginger and I add them to a pot. I add water, I boil for 15 minutes, and voila, you have your ginger tea. And it's really good for inflammation, but it's also really good for digestion. And especially this time of year, it's really, we have our winter, getting into our winter and it's cold. And so a warming beverage like that really feels good. There's also traditional teas such as matcha, coffee. A lot of people ask me about coffee. I think that for our livers, it's better not to have coffee. But if you like coffee, then why not do a decaf, or you can even go for a grain coffee, such as chicory. They're actually pretty good. They even have mushroom variety coffees as well. You can do lattes using alternative milks, bone broth, smoothies, fruit and vegetable smoothies, and juices, fresh cold pressed. So foods to avoid on an anti-inflammatory diet. So refined sugar, that's a good one. Gluten, dairy, corn, soy, processed food, including all processed meats with nitrates. So you'll find a lot of hot dogs and sausages and things like that might have nitrates, so it's good to look on the labels. Alcohol in excess. I don't think there's anything wrong with having an occasional glass of red wine. Artificial food additives, hydrogenated oils and trans fats, omega-6 fatty acids in excess, nightshade vegetables such as tomato, green peppers. How's everybody doing? Hopefully everyone's okay. I know I can't hear anyone. I feel like I'm talking very quick. Hopefully everyone can catch what I'm saying.
You're doing great, Lucy. Everybody's enjoying you. We're getting great comments.
Okay, great. Thank you. On a side note, I wanted to talk about refined sugar and why it's so bad for inflammation, because so many people ask me what's so bad about sugar. So this is something really I'm going to say that's going to make you think, and that is having a teaspoon of sugar will suppress your immune system for up to 5 hours. So think about that. Processed sugar helps release inflammatory messengers that can raise the risk of chronic inflammation that's linked to other major diseases such as cancer, diabetes, obesity, heart disease, arthritis, and Alzheimer's. And here are some tips to reduce added sugar in your diet. Choose nutrient-rich snacks such as fresh fruit, fresh vegetables, or coconut yogurts instead of your pastries, cookies, and candy. Eat whole fruit instead of the juices in order to get the fiber, which will help you stay full longer. Select breakfast cereals that contain less sugar. Opt for reduced sugar varieties of jams, jellies, and preserves. Drink plain water or carbonated water instead of the sugary sodas, bubble tea, or those sports drinks. Or may I suggest making your own desserts using alternative sweeteners such as raw honey. Raw honey is a special one. Raw honey not only adds sweetness, but it also is really good for reducing inflammation. It has antibacterial and antiviral properties to it. So that's good to know. So if you're catching a cold, or if you're having some type of a cold, then adding the honey, as most of you probably know, with the tea really helps. But even taking a teaspoon of honey under the tongue every day, so it absorbs into your bloodstream quicker, is really good because of the antiviral, antibacterial properties of honey. Another good one is maple syrup, coconut palm sugar, or agave. These are all excellent alternatives to regular sugar. Oh, yes, and I might add that I'm going to be sending you some recipes for a really great chocolate chip cookie, and it has no gluten, has no refined sugar in it, and you wouldn't even miss it. They're so delicious. So now I'm going to have a sip of water. Sorry. Okay, let's talk about an anti-inflammatory lifestyle. While much of the anti-inflammatory diet focuses on our food choices, a healthy lifestyle is just as important. So drinking plenty of water to stay hydrated, body movement, getting an adequate amount of good quality sleep, managing your stress, reducing exposure to toxins. And another really great one is gut health, which I should have put there, but we won't have time to get into that. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit of these different ones. So body movement, or as we call it, exercise. I know that some of you might have pain, which makes exercise difficult for you, but you just have to start, go slow. I find that it is going to be uncomfortable for you, but moving your body, because our bodies need to move, will actually help you feel better in the long run. So even if it's just sitting down and moving your arms, if you're not mobile, or just trying to move your legs up and down, or taking in breaths when you move your arms, just something to get your body moving. Another one is you could do a short walk. Just doesn't have to be a long walk. It could just be 5 minutes. Today I'm just going to go walk for 5 minutes. I'm just going to go up to the end of the street and come back, or I'm going to walk down my hallway and come back. You start slow, and then every day you can increase to a little bit more. Your body's going to thank you, and the inflammation will definitely come down, which means your pain will get better. Let's talk about better quality sleep. I know this is a tough one, especially with us on high prednisone. I've been on prednisone for 28 years, still on it. I'm on 6 milligrams right now, so I still can feel the side effects of the prednisone. So I know it's not easy to say we need quality sleep. I know how hard it is for you because I have the same struggles. But trying to go to bed every day at the same time will help. Turning off electronics 1 hour before bedtime can help. Creating a routine that allows you to relax before bed, such as reading or meditating or praying, having a warm bath with Epsom salts, journaling, getting thoughts off your head, worries, or just things, what do I have to do tomorrow? Or what do I have to do next week? Or I had such a stressful day. If you just get a little journal and you write down what's bothering you, or, these things you have to do, you're getting it off your mind and onto paper, you're going to feel better. I totally believe that because I'm a big fan of journaling. Also, avoiding stimulants before bed, such as coffee or caffeinated teas, alcohol, or energy drinks will help you. Also, temperature in your room is really important. So if it's too hot, you can't sleep. If it's too cold, you're bundling up yourself and I have a trouble with cold feet. I've always had cold feet. So I know I have to put on fuzzy socks before I sleep so that I feel better. Another one is blacking out lights in your room. So blackout curtains are good, or an eye mask. And for noise, just use a fan or earplugs to block out sound. That helps too. Another great one is how to manage stress. Again, especially when you have a chronic illness. I mean, you're always worrying, and I understand that, but how can we decrease that? How can we help ourselves? So again, writing in your journal, meditation, talking to a friend for that support, just talking to your health team about all your worries and concerns will help. Some techniques, again, you're going to see they're all always coming around, is eating a healthy, balanced diet, getting better sleep, which will reduce your cortisol levels. Relaxation techniques such as meditation or taking a yoga class. They even have yoga classes that you sit in a chair yoga. They even have, I've seen yoga with dogs, or I've seen with goats. At least I have. I've actually been in a yoga class with dogs. It was a lot of fun. Another one is taking an Epsom salt bath using lavender and Epsom salts. And so you take your water, your bath water, you run the water, you add some Epsom salt, some essential oil, and you're going to feel amazing because the magnesium helps with sore muscles and sore joints. So that's another really good one. So it'll relax you before bed. Another one, again, I always say this, is journal. Get those thoughts off your mind onto paper. Taking deep breaths. Sometimes I feel anxious, and if I just stop for that moment, put my hand on my heart, close my eyes and think, okay, what's going on right now? And take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. You're gonna feel much better. And I think I love this one, laugh more, watch comedies, laugh with your friends. Or the best one is just connect with others. Having your social circle is very important. The next one is reducing exposure to toxins. Now, I know we can't do too much about the air outside, but we can definitely reduce the amount of toxins inside. So choosing glass over plastic, choosing green cleaners, products that are, fragrance-free, using a good quality water filter, placing green plants all around your home. Not only are they going to make you feel good, but they actually help to clean the air. Have and maintain a good ventilation system in your home. Avoiding fragrance, such as they're cleaners, laundry detergents, personal care products. Avoid air fresheners. Instead, use essential oils in a diffuser. Using beeswax candles instead of soy and other ones that have toxic ingredients in them. Dusting your home weekly. Using a high quality air purifier. Swapping non-stick cookware for stainless steel or cast iron. Well, I don't know about cast iron. I can't really pick up cast iron. They're very heavy. And this is a big one. No outdoor shoes in the house, because you're bringing all that stuff from inside into your house. So that's a no-no. So now we get to the recipes. I'm so excited. You're going to be getting some recipes that I've created. Chocolate chip cookies, a turmeric latte, a pina colada smoothie. It actually tastes like a pina colada. Hemp seed energy balls, pumpkin and butternut squash soup, and lemon water. You're going to be getting all of these. And what's amazing about these recipes, I did create them myself, but it's because they have no refined sugar. They have no added ingredients that you don't need. They're all made non-dairy, and I think they taste amazing. You won't miss any of it. So what are the takeaways today? Eating a balanced diet, one that contains complex carbohydrates, lean protein, whole grains, healthy fats, high fiber foods, increasing your general body movement, even if it's hard for you, a little bit a day and work your way up, getting better quality sleep, reducing and managing your stress, reducing your exposure to toxins. Living a healthy lifestyle will decrease your inflammation, and you will live a life full of vitality. Thank you for listening, everybody. And now I guess we're open to questions. I'm happy to answer them.
Great. Thank you so much, Lucy. If you'd stop sharing your screen, everybody can see your lovely face. And as we ask questions, it will be more appealing to them. I'm going to start with a few that I saw early on, and we'll keep trying to take questions from people as we go along until we run out of time. The first one that I saw that was interesting is that there are many common side effects of medications that we have to take that cause things like sore throats, mouth sores, and the majority of foods in anti-inflammatory diet are not recommended, or you simply can't eat because of pain. Do you have any advice?
Well, I guess I would have, again, I think that would be a question I'd have to maybe one-on-one with this person. It would be helpful because I'd like to know their symptoms and exactly what they're doing. And then I could make recommendations of different swaps they can do. So they can, email me.
Okay, so that reminds me, I should have said that we are going to put Lucy's email in the chat box. So we'll do that now. And if you want to look at the chat box, you'll have information to contact her. I thought this was another really good one. So many of us are on steroids, and it causes crazy hunger surges. So do you have any advice on how to avoid eating the wrong things during that time? Because I think that's what we go towards.
Yeah, for sure. I know. Don't I know? So basically, that's a really good question, by the way. And so by eating protein, like I suggested, breakfast, lunch, and dinner will help. Also eating every 4 hours, even if it's, a little bit of walnuts with some apple slices, or celery sticks are really great with, some dates. So just choosing healthier snacks and eating more often. And also when you're eating, to be mindful when you're eating, because there are reasons why people, they'll be hungry a lot faster. And that's because they're either rushing through their meals. I'm not suggesting that's what you're doing, of course, but these are just generalized. To chew really well, chew your food very well, and also to not rush through your meals, to sit down and be relaxed if you can. And also to avoid electronics at the time of eating. These things will help you so that your digestion works better. But again, honestly, eating protein and eating foods that are not so like every 4 hours, I would say, because I like some people think, oh, I skipped lunch, never skip meals, and just choosing healthier choices, such as, like I said, fresh fruit with nuts. Nuts are really good. They're high in omega-3s, and they're really good at keeping us full.
So it sounds like you're not a fan of intermittent fasting, which is like a huge thing for people right now, where they go way more than 4 hours without eating.
I don't have too much experience with that. I'm sorry, I can't comment.
Okay. It sounds like it doesn't fit with what you're saying anyway. There was a question, caffeine, is it a strict no-no, or do you just limit it, or what should we do?
Caffeine actually can raise your blood pressure and can raise your heart rate. And it's also really, it's hard on the liver. And because we're on so many different, like very harsh, powerful medications, we want to make things easier for our liver. So I would say if you want to have caffeine, limit it to maybe 1 cup a day. And maybe the other times you could maybe have grain coffee, or you can have even decaf choices. It depends, how you feel when you have that caffeine as well.
Oh, okay. And several people asked about gluten. So if you're not a celiac patient, should we actually just be avoiding gluten all the time anyway? I mean, obviously people with celiac disease have to, but should the rest of us be avoiding gluten?
There's so many research, there's so much evidence that gluten, it's not really the wheat, it's how it's grown. And now it's even more so the soil in which that it's, that wheat is grown. And so there's this whole theory that because the way it's grown, that the soil is not so nutrient rich anymore. And what are they spraying on the crops? So we are getting sensitivities to that. And that's why we suggest no gluten. But when I work with somebody one-on-one, I go through an elimination diet process to see what is actually causing this reaction. And so a lot of people, they're sensitive to gluten, and that's why we advise no gluten. That is the big reason why.
Okay,
so
well,
you get,
makes sense.
You get like so let's say you get a sensitivity, your reaction will be, inflammation will go up.
Okay, that's important to know, important to think about. Here's a good question. What advice would you give us parents that are taking care of children with vasculitis? Diet is hard with children.
Yeah. Like I said, go for the whole foods. So giving them, like the apple, giving them, oranges, cucumber, celery, giving them, teaching them as well how to eat healthy is really important. Also in like a lot of different stores now, grocery stores. I'm in Canada, by the way, so I'm going to speak on what I know. Here in Canada, we have a lot of health food stores. And also even the bigger chains of grocery stores, they have like sections where you can find cookies, and you can find, like different types of goodies that they can have, like those candies, like sour candies, and they actually have different forms of sugar in them. They don't have the refined sugar. So as an alternative, they're a really great idea.
Okay, great advice. One person is asking, is hot or warm beverages better, or cold beverages better for hydration?
There's so many different things out there, information on that. I prefer room temperature. I find that cold could shock the body, could shock the heart, and many of us have heart conditions. So speaking again on myself, I have a heart condition, so I can't have like really cold drinks. Instead, I drink room temperature.
Okay. And I'm interested in this one. Nightshade vegetables. Can you explain a little bit about it? Some people are saying it's a big part of the Mediterranean diet, which is supposed to be anti-inflammatory. Is there some happy medium? I mean, I love tomatoes.
Yeah, you can eat tomatoes. The thing with tomatoes is they're quite acidic, and again, I've noticed a lot of them are people have sensitivities to them. So I think that's why it's on the list to avoid. But if you add vitamin E to a tomato, so olive oil drizzle over a tomato, there's compounds in there that mix together, and then it makes it fine, less acidic to take into your system.
Okay, I'm reading while I'm listening, because a bunch of people some of you folks are putting questions in the chat box. So it helped me if you put them in the question and answer, the Q&A box, so that I make sure we get to them today. How about this question? What's wrong with dairy products? Is it the protein or the lactose? Is it possible to eat products without lactose? I don't eat them at all, but I miss it. I love Parmesan. So that was the whole question.
You have a lot of great vegan options now, but okay. So I'll start like this. Dairy is very mucus forming. And so there have been studies where people have taken in dairy who have a lot of issues with reoccurring throat infections or sinusitis. And once they remove their dairy, or asthma is the other one, their symptoms have improved, or even skin issues. So that's why I think they say no dairy. Again, these aren't my recommendations as much as I'm following an anti-inflammatory diet. But that is why a lot of people have sensitivities to dairy. And so because of these sensitivities, what happens is your immune cells will just go attacking because it doesn't know why. Like, why is this here? Why is it bothering me? And that's why they recommend no dairy. Okay. I hope that answers the question.
It does. It does. The next person says, with prednisone, I worry about bone density. What can we do to help with this issue?
Yeah, I know. I have osteoporosis myself. So I recommended, I did talk about the calcium in sesame seeds, that you can do that. You can grind the sesame seeds yourself, and you can put it on top of salads, or you can put it in your soups or your smoothies. There's also a product called tahini. And why I'm saying this is because it's so high in calcium. Just 1 cup equals, I forget how much of milk. There are also other bone building vegetables you can eat, such as broccoli. Broccoli is a really good one. So you can, up your broccoli or include more broccoli in your diet. Another one is weight bearing exercises. They help as well with protecting your bones. So like walking is also another good one for your bones. I know that, there's some certain yogurts as well that have probiotic in them that can help as well.
Okay.
And so, yeah.
Great. That's very helpful. This person says they were diagnosed with ANCA vasculitis following a bout of COVID. No one has discussed any health maintenance with me other than the original med infusions during critical care. Is there a particular type of nutritionist I should work with? I live in New York City.
You can work with me, or if you find a holistic nutritionist in your area. I'm a very, I work like with a holistic approach to get to the root cause of symptoms. So what I do with my clients is I go through an extensive process where I go over their symptoms, what their, also their diet, their lifestyle, and I even go a little bit into psychospiritual, which not everyone's comfortable with, and that's fine. And so when I do that, I can see exactly what body systems are out of balance, and I could work with you to get those body systems into balance. And that includes, a personalized meal plan along with supplements. You notice I didn't talk about supplements because supplements is a very one-on-one sort of situation. And also you get a menu plan, and and you get me. But anyways, I didn't want to sound that.
So that's a great answer for people. Email Lucy and find out more. And I can tell you, if you are that person that posed that question, that a lot of the times when we're first diagnosed, they're worrying so much about getting the organs in your body functioning properly that our doctors don't often get to information about diet and living an anti-inflammatory lifestyle, which is why the Vasculitis Foundation has provided this to you today, so that we can help with that. Here's a great question. What do you think about the keto diet and vasculitis?
Again, I don't have too much experience or knowledge of the keto diet. And I'm afraid to say, is it like more of a meat? It's more meat, I think. I'm not sure.
I think so, but I don't practice specific diets, so I don't know either. I can tell you that what Lucy is saying to all of you is that it's the type of foods that she's recommended here. If that fits into your diet plan, that's probably, rather than her commenting on a specific diet that's out there. Here's one I never would have thought to ask. I thought soy candles were good. Is that not true?
Yeah, thank you for asking that, because that is a really good question. It's just that soy is considered toxic, again, because some people are more sensitive to soy, and so we recommend doing the alternative, which is the honey one. What's it called? All of a sudden, beeswax.
Beeswax.
Yeah, one of these moments. Yes, beeswax candles are the best. But soy is, you know what? If you can't find beeswax and they are quite expensive, I'd go with the soy much rather than the ones you get, that are, not a little bit more toxic. They don't have natural ingredients in them. Then I would rather do the soy for sure.
Okay. And for those of us with kidney issues, including me, can you speak about salt, the evil salt?
Okay, so in terms of salt, and this is, I learned this from school. I remember the first month I was in school, I thought too, like salt is so bad. And what they said to me was, with the average diet, people are consuming a lot of salt in the prepared foods. So for instance, if they're eating chips or if they're eating, microwavable meals or whatever is packaged has a lot of sodium in it, even canned things, right? So what happens is you're taking in all that extra sodium and now that's affecting you. But if you had a diet where you're eating more natural foods and you were not going to those foods, then a really good Himalayan sea salt is awesome. You can have, and I'm not saying sprinkle tons of it on your plate. I don't even think it's a good idea to add salt to your plate. I'd rather do it like in my meal when I'm cooking the meal, then you add your salt in there. But I don't necessarily think like salt is bad. And the issue is a lot of people are getting thyroid issues because of this, because they're afraid. So a lot of people are saying, well, I'm not going to eat salt. Doctor told me not to eat salt. So then they're not adding salt specifically. And then now people are ending up with thyroid issues, which is a whole other topic. But let's say you're eating a whole foods diet. Okay. Let's say you're eating, like whole foods. You were not going to the canned stuff or the packaged stuff. Okay. Let's just say that scenario. Okay. You can have some seaweed, crunch it up on top of your food, or have Himalayan's good quality salt. You would be okay. It just depends the individual circumstance.
So, and you're also saying read the labels on the items that you're buying that are not whole food. And if they're very high sodium content, there's your answer right there. So understood. Are there a lot of sugars in grapes, strawberries, and apples?
Great question. Because it's a natural source of sugar, it's okay. But the white grapes are really high in sugar, like really high. So that's why I suggested the purple, the red, or the blue grapes, because they're really high in antioxidants, which our body needs. So anytime somebody says, it's a lot of sugar, in these fruits, think about what else you eat that has a lot of sugar and eliminate those instead, but be okay eating your fruits.
Okay. If I ask you something that you don't know what this term means, please just tell us that, because I don't know what this term means. What about someone with gastroparesis? Would you suggest anything different?
Again, I'd love to meet with that person one-on-one and talk about what's going on. I know what that is, but it's a fully loaded question because it's an individual thing.
Right.
So I don't know who said that. It's a good question. If you want to reach out to me, I can totally help you. We can go over what's really going on, your diet, like how much you're drinking a day, like lifestyle, everything, and figure out how I can get that down for you, how I can help you.
So message Lucy and she'll try and help you with that. They just put her email in the chat again for all of you. Someone else said on the slide where you were listing nuts, I didn't see pecans or pecans, depending on where you're from. Are they good or to be avoided?
Pecans are okay. It's just, I guess I put the ones that are recommended on the anti-inflammatory diet. For example, if you want to reduce inflammation, then the best ones were the ones listed. So for sure, walnuts are amazing. They're so high in omega-3s. So I would start with that. I would go with the ones. Almonds are high in calcium, by the way. Somebody asked about calcium. I just remembered. So you can have, 4 or 5, just a little handful of almonds a day. So the ones that are higher in the omega-3s are the nuts that I suggested.
Okay. And somebody says, I find myself choosing energy drinks to combat fatigue. Oh my gosh, the vasculitis fatigue. Are there any energy drink options that are acceptable? Or maybe you have a better idea for them.
I would say no. I would stay away from those energy drinks because they're high in sugar, but they also have so many other things. Some of them have colorings in them, which you need to avoid. So I would look at the ingredients. Again, you can go to a health food store or a natural health food section in a grocery store, and you can see what other options there are. But if you add like some water and you add like a sprinkle of Himalayan salt, that's actually really good for getting your electrolytes up.
Okay, everybody, water, lemon water, Himalayan salt. Here, there are two questions that sort of go together. Do you recommend a calorie amount daily? And also, would the fruits that you are suggesting cause weight gain? We're all hyper-focused on that because of the prednisone and our lifestyle changes.
Yeah. Oh, I know for sure. I actually don't have the recommended calories per day. My whole focus is on nourishing your body and getting in as many healthy foods as possible. Like I said, those whole foods, focusing more on whole foods. Okay. So I know that we're all focused on weight gain and trying to lose weight, especially with the meds we're on. But if you focus on which foods to eat in terms of providing you the best health benefits, the weight will naturally fall off anyways. And that's the truth. And with prednisone, it's difficult to lose weight. So please be gentle with yourself and know this, that you're on medication. It's saving your life. It's helping you. But another way is also to eat those really good foods and get as many nutrients, antioxidants, all that great stuff into your body because you'll feel better.
And move a little bit if you can, moving around, right?
Yes.
Anti-inflammatory lifestyle too. So there's a couple of kidney questions, and honestly, everybody, we are getting very close to the end. We're at an hour right now, so I'm just going to ask these last two because they're about kidneys, and then we'll address what we're going to do with the rest of your questions in a minute. Someone says, I have chronic kidney disease as a result of my vasculitis. I need low potassium to limit protein, limit sodium, of course. Asking for suggestions. The next person says, how does the anti-inflammatory diet react with poor kidney function? Does it complement it or not?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Again, these are great questions, but I honestly would feel more comfortable taking it up with you one-on-one because I understand there's kidney involvement, but what has been causing that kidney involvement? I'm assuming it's the vasculitis, but what else is going on? So I feel more comfortable. Like it's more of I think a fully loaded question. And so it's something that I feel more comfortable doing one-on-one. What is really going on? I'd like to know what you're eating what you're eating, what are you eating? And how your lifestyle is, what are your habits? I'd like to know how your sleep is, how your stress is. All of this is going to really make a difference on how I answer that.
So it's interesting for those of you that watch Vasculitis Foundation webinars, we don't always have a guest speaker that is willing to communicate with you later, and Lucy is. So reach out and contact her. We have a couple of things to announce. Some of you are just now joining us because you may have gotten confused with the time zones and when this started. This webinar will be up on the Vasculitis Foundation website soon. So if you missed us, I'm so sorry, but we will put it up there. It will live in infamy on YouTube and the Vasculitis Foundation website. So, and then you'll be able to reach out to Lucy. Also, we're holding, I host the other Vasculitis Foundation webinars, and we're holding a live webinar on kidney health in December. So those of you that asked about kidney questions, we have some nephrologists that will be discussing things like a kidney-friendly diet. We also have an integrative medicine webinar coming up. So there are a lot of things that can complement what Lucy spoke about today. So be sure and check the Vasculitis Foundation website for those things. Lucy, thank you so much for sharing this with us. We often get told what to do with our medicine and nothing else. And nearly 700 people registered for this today, probably many of them just so that they can get the recording information later. So it's obviously a topic that we all need help with. And for those of you that we didn't get to your answers, first of all, we'll use your answers to guide us in future webinars so that we know what topics to use. So thank you for submitting them. And also, please check the vasculitisfoundation.org website for the upcoming webinars on other topics that are very close to the questions that you asked today, one on kidney health and one on integrative health. So thank you so much, Lucy, for your presentation and for answering all those questions. We loved it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Thanks,
Okay,
everybody.
thank you, everybody.